What's up, everyone? You're listening to Supercar Stories, the Fast Business podcast. We're sitting here with Peter Dodeja, who is the founder of SAI Protection and does a bit of commercial property investment as well, among a plethora of other things. Yes. He is the owner of the beautiful Huracan behind us with a lovely satin red wrap. We've also got Mr. Matt Higgs on the show as well from Detail Matters.
Hello, everyone.
And we've also got Andy Beckett on the show as well from Pro Eagle.
What's up?
And we've also got Mr. Pete Moriarty signing in from remote location as well. Say hello, Pete.
G'day, everyone.
Hello.
Cool. We'll get into it. So, Pete, I'll give you a bit of a background on like what the podcast is about. So, the Supercar Stories concept is kind of intended to be interviewing people who've achieved the dream of acquiring the car that that only young boys dream of when they're 15, and they think, oh my god, that's so unattainable. But you've got there.
Yep.
And we want to kind of unpack how you got there, and talk about your sort of life story in an hour and a half sort of thing. So
understand. Yeah.
So make it real quick.
Yeah.
There's 30-something years to talk about. We got 1 hour to do it.
In the fast lane.
So let's just skip these. The Lamborghini lane. We got to skip to the fast stuff.
100%. Yeah, we'd love to hear your story. Do you want to give us a bit of to kick it off? You could give us a wrap on what SAI does as a group, and then also unpack some of your life story and where the dreams of the car came from and how you got there.
Yep. So SAI Group is we are in security. That's our one of the main businesses. SAI Group also has an investment arm where we do a lot of commercial real estate purchase, like commercial plazas, shopping centers, and different stuff. We also did resi before, but we don't do resi anymore. We've also have a new arm, SAI Tech, where we are working on a few different tech projects. So mainly the company is national in the country, and we've just expanded late last year, early this year to US as well. So now I've got an operation in San Diego, Las Vegas, and expanding there quite a bit too. So that's
dangerous.
Dangerous and rewarding.
So is that part of the like the commercial real estate is what you're expanding there?
No, the security.
Security.
Yeah, security. We expanded over there as well. That's going good. So that's sort of the company. But again, I came to this country when I was 17 and a half, and studied in as an international student, literally with $1,200 in my pocket. That's it, nothing else. I did not get anything after that from my parents. That was it. That's how I started. The journey.
Yeah.
And young guy, you hear, you're like, okay, I want to do something. I want to be someone. I want to expand and grow, and then you put in all the hard work and all that. So from the start, the thing was, I was an international student back then, and because you're an international student, your college or your degree fees is 3 times the normal. Your university fee is like 3 times the normal fee that a normal like a citizen would pay here. So because of that, we had to do like every single odd job. So take it from pizza delivery to cleaning to even car counting. Back in those days, you have to be actually on the side of the motorway, and they'll give you this massive like a button box thing,
like a ticker box
thing, and then and let's say a truck goes like and sometimes you're like, what the hell,
it's all automated now. We've come a long way
because of exactly right.
Now you're the guy freaking them out in the Lambo, just and they're like, what was that? A truck or a car?
A UFO, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Right? That's on the number plate. But as I said, like no job is a small job. Like if you want to be someone, if you want to get somewhere, no job is literally a small job, dude. And then that's how I started. I started doing a lot of different stuff, and then I was stumbled upon security. I started doing security patrols. I was in a car doing patrols and stuff, and I literally like 18 something. I got my license and I started doing it, and I think 6-8 months into the job, I was like, you know what, stuff it. I'm gonna start my own. And I was like 19ish, and I started my company back then. So that's how sort of
Did you find that they were doing something that there was a gap in, that you're like, I could do something better here? Or was it more just the bold move to, I don't want to be working for someone. I can
Mate,
do it
that's
myself.
actually a very, very good story. How I decided, the day I decided that I'm going to start a security company is I was working for this dude, right? And he used to fly in every time from Sydney, and he's gone back to Dubai or something. He sold his company now, but he used to fly in from Sydney every couple of weeks, and he was actually one of the bosses of the company, and young guy. I was like, he's like, oh, can you drop me to the airport? I'm like, yeah, your car, your fuel, I don't care, I'll drop you. Young guys, he used to like me. I was like literally like an 19-year-old guy trying to do everything I can just to get that extra, just to be on that extra mile. And then the guy's like, oh yeah, okay, all right, drop me to the airport. I'm taking him to the airport, and rather than going to the domestic, he tells me to turn left just before the airport. And I'm like, no way, you got your private jet? He's like, you want to see it? I'm like, okay, why not? So, and parked the car. We went, and that was the first time I'm looking at this private jet. And as soon as he actually showed me just from inside as well. As soon as I walked up to the jet, I looked inside. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking open up a security company.
Yeah, that's it. Sign me up.
But again, you're young. You're just thinking anything. But again, at the same time, if you got ambitions and goals, and everything's achievable. I don't have a private jet yet, but because I take my money seriously and invest in a lot of different things rather than buying private jet right now until my cash flow can buy it. But yeah, again, I just thought that actually gave me a boost, and I decided stuff it. But you know what? When I started, I was literally 19. For the first 2 years, I had nothing, like no contracts, nothing. Like you're going door to door.
You were hitting the pavement to try and get
exactly.
jobs.
You're going everywhere, and people are like showing you middle fingers, and dogs and cells.
Yeah,
are not
slamming the
allowed
door
and all that
and
shit. But again, at the same time, and where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do it, you have to do it, no matter what. So literally for the 2 years, I had nothing, and then when I was 21, I got my first contract. Literally, like I think a day before my birthday or something, and I'm like, oh, that's good. And then that's it. And since then, I have never looked back. And that's a bit of how I got into security. So
How big's the team?
We got 250, 300 people plus working for us in the whole, here, US, all that. If you combine everything,
Yeah, sweet. And I did a little bit of reading, and I saw that throughout, I don't want to digress from the life story, but I saw that throughout COVID, you guys had a bit of a hit in some contracts. People were dropping their budgets, so you had to kind of pivot and find a way, like, how can we still get work, but it's not super expensive for the client, and you develop some tech that sends snapshots from photos like instantly when there's alarms and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we came with this idea called virtual patrols, and we were thinking, okay, look, rather than what are we going to do different that everyone's stuck in there, we were still allowed to be out there within limits to go and check out the sites and stuff, but we thought pandemic changed a lot of things, and a lot of customers weren't certain what's going to happen. They didn't want to spend the money. I was like, you know what, stuff it. Because again, when I was studying, I did software engineering. I never pursued the career because I already started my business when I was sort of 19. But I still had that bit of a tech background, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can combine that with this and try and come up with something. And then that's how I came up with this idea. I was like, okay, we can have virtual patrols where rather than the guy going everywhere, we just put cameras everywhere. And then every few hours, a control room guy will just log in and check and make sure everything's okay. But at the same time, if anything's happening, it will send the thing back straight to the control. Now, because if anything's happening and if it's a live it's a live event, we can send that data straight to the police. Police can get that straight away as well because they know that it's a live, stealing, theft, burglary, whatever. And so that was a good hit. So that was like a lot of customers, they went for that, saved a lot of money.
Well, it'd be quicker too, wouldn't it? It'd be quicker to have that rather than have man on the ground, going between the venues.
Exactly. Like one guy checking, I don't know, heaps of sites rather than the same guy or two people doing that, going everywhere, wasting the fuel, wasting time, wasting the money, doing the same thing. But at the same time, some clients do need like that physical checkup. So what you can do is rather than going the 3 times, the first guy can go and do the physical. The rest of the stuff can be done through the cameras. And it's like a win-win situation for everyone.
Just putting the business on a diet pretty much, yeah?
Exactly. And then because of which, I think I was also... got selected in Australia's like top 100 young entrepreneurs. I won in 2020 and 2022 last year, and 2021 I was up in the running as well. So
you won. You were named top entrepreneur in Australia for 2020 and 22.
Yeah. So I was,
Really?
Australia's top 100 young entrepreneurs, and 2020 I was number 49 out of 100. This time I was number 88, but we're still pushing because it's a big list. Like number one is Canva Lady, number 2 Scott Farquhar from Afterpay, and so it's a big list. So just to get in is crazy. So
that's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, so it's coming from bloody just $1,200 in the pocket, landing in the country, thinking I don't know what the hell is going to happen. To being Australia's top 100 young entrepreneurs with like. You can do whatever you sort of within limits. It's a long and hard working way, but at the same time, like nothing's unachievable if you put your mind to it.
Yeah. So it was jets for you, not cars.
Yeah, that's how. And
the cars were later.
Car has always been like every. I would say 90% of kids' dream car is a Lamborghini when they're growing up. You look at the car and you're like, I'm gonna buy it one day. And to be honest, mate, when I was 24 or something, not even that early, I would have bought a Lamborghini back then easily. But it's like you don't use your active income to fund the shit that you don't need.
Yeah,
you
shouldn't.
Exactly. You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't. Exactly.
There's plenty of people that do.
100%. And then that's where I think it's going wrong these days. Like a guy opens up an online store or whatever, or earns $1 million, which is not a big deal these days. As earns $1 million, like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna go and get the Lamborghini. I'm gonna go and this and that. No, that's stupid. That's how they have a book for dummies 101.
Yeah,
they should make a book for them, like stupid mistakes 101. And that's like just stupid. You should not do that ever. So you invest in real estate or anything that's going to give you passive income, and that until that passive income can buy anything, which is like I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, next week the money will be back.
Exactly.
Can I ask, when you got it, was it what you thought it would be? Once the first few days wear off and you've got a couple $100,000 car sitting in your garage, does it still do the same thing?
Nah, I don't think so. It does the same thing. No. I saw a graph. It was very funny. It's like there were 3 bars. The first bar, let's say out of 100%, was something when you don't have it, and it's like at 70%.
Yeah.
And then when you have it, drops down to 40%, like the value of it.
Yeah.
And when you sell it and you don't have it, that's 120%. You're like, shit, I shouldn't have sold it.
Yeah. That's such an interesting question, actually. Like that Andy just asked, because I felt similar things. Like my car's nowhere near the level of that car, but I felt similar things. Sometimes now when like I come here and I have to drive that thing somewhere, I'm like, oh, this fucking thing. Like,
It's a thing, but at the same time, looking at everyone needs to. It's not like you should not look after yourself. 100%, you should. That this thing gives you adrenaline. It gives you sort of it gives you freedom. It gives you a lot of contacts. It gives you a lot of networking opportunities. Like that's you can't match that as well. And it's like. But again, at the same time, if you're earning, you need to wait. It's not like I'm going to get this, I'm going to go and get the car. No, that's just like.
I think the closer you get to it, the less you kind of chase it. You know what I mean? Like when you can get it, you don't always necessarily want to go out and get it. Like you get a bit smarter with your money and go, well, I could probably make a lot more money if I just kept using it. Make it work.
That's true. And then
you wouldn't sell it though, would you?
Like, hang on, not right now.
Like
it's only 3 weeks old, isn't it?
Like they lose their novelty a little bit, but you still wouldn't sell it.
To be honest, I had an R8 before and then the McLaren, but I think as soon as I think when you know that something, it's just me. Everyone thinks differently, but when you see that something's giving you a lot better returns and some opportunity comes up, that is like the most tangible lesson. I'm just like, see you later.
Really?
You get another one.
Yeah.
Like a real estate opportunity comes up, which is actually really good. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just only 4, 5, whatever. I'm going to make 1.5. I will just let it go. And I think, okay, look, I'll just buy an Aventador later. Things like that. So if there's a next step to it, if you're not going to buy anything, okay, that's a different story. But if you're getting benefit from it, because again, there's a better opportunities. If you're getting something better from it, And then, let it go. Get something else better later.
After what you said about McLaren off camera, I don't think they're going to give you another one.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't hear what he said about it.
Nice car.
But I already know.
It's lovely. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to see this, but if they do, it was something along the lines of a very fast Camry. So,
Yeah.
sorry, McLaren.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh well, that's that's an inspiring story to turn up with $1,200 and now
So
roll in a
there's
hurricane.
still hope for you still, mate. I know you've got $11.99 in your account, so start fucking working.
Can you lend me $1?
I'll give you a line of credit. All right, watch that interest quickly.
No, cool. Yeah, that's inspiring. I guess like if we wound it all the way back to like those years when you were grinding it out and like you came here with $1,200, like what kind of advice would you give to someone who's still in that spot, who has dreams of having a Lamborghini, or they see themselves in private jets and things like that, and I guess not just materialistic goals. I mean, it's fulfilling life. Like that's what everyone really wants. You know what I mean? A fulfilling life.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like, what sort of advice would you give to people who are still like on that journey of that time of grinding through that bad period?
That's true, and I think that's what I think. Like your age from, to be honest, 16, like when you start working at McDonald's or any like little stores and stuff, and from 16 to like 23, 24, 25, if you just work hard in that period, mate, honestly, your whole life is going to change. Otherwise, you just go out, go party. Yes, that is a very crucial time to party as well. But again, if you have some sort of balance and where you're 80%, you just turn on, to be honest, 100%. But even if you can't do 180%, you're just pushing and pushing on your goals, because after 25, mate, it's just going to be so easy, especially these days. There's so much data available online. There's so many different things they can do, and I think is a matter of probability. If you think you really want to get something, or you really want to go somewhere, let's say you want to start a store or something, you just open up, you give yourself, I'm going to open up 100 stores, one of them is going to work. It's a probability ratio. You just keep hitting, you keep punching, the water's going to come out no matter what. So
I think Mr. Becker can really relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. How many times you've been kicked down, and something always works. If you just keep going.
If you keep going, So
we've had a good and also a pretty shit last 6 months. There's always been deals that have gone through, but there's also been a lot that we've been riding on that haven't gone through. And you're like, man, how many more times will I be kicked in the balls this week? But keep pushing.
I just don't think, I don't have it built in me to give up. Like, it's just, what's the next step? You know what I mean? Like, like you say, we've had a few things go wrong out of our control.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead of moping about and head down, poor me, it's what's next? Let's get stuck in. Let's fix the scenario rather than bitch about it, because putting that energy into anything negative is just a waste of time.
That's it.
Exactly.
I think you've got to have good people around you too. Like, you've obviously got some good people around you. And do you have a mentor?
I used to always be on YouTube and different podcasts and everything just to learn from people. Depends on what industry, because I was concentrating more on residential. I did spend a lot of money on learning the residential industry, and then
for security or for real estate?
For real estate, my bad.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing commercial, I'd spent money on that. So you always got to learn. What I think is, there's something to be learned from everyone. Doesn't matter if the guy's got nothing to, he's got everything.
Absolutely.
So
definitely.
there's something, everyone has this unique quality which you can pick it up, and
doesn't matter what line of work they're in.
Exactly.
You'll still get something.
You should still get something. Yeah. So, from honestly, there were days. There were literally days. I still remember in Griffith University, the cheapest option to eat lunch was $2.60 chips, which I used to eat every now and then, not even every day, because I was from there to not even giving a fuck about anything, to be honest. There's a big journey, but at the same time, you need to have that active passive goal, right? Active income, of course, going to be there, but you can't work all your life, no matter what. You have to have something passive, which is going to keep giving you, either could be anything. You got to find your passive vehicle yourself. From there to then passively, I can afford whatever I want, sort of, to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It is time, but when you get there, you're like, man, this is
was worth it.
It's worth it.
I think
every single minute. Is
Yeah,
worth it.
I think that's what makes it worth it is the journey. Because if you were just handed $10 million, it doesn't have anywhere near as much impact as if you earned $10 million.
No.
Yeah, 10 million full of blood, sweat, and tears and
Exactly.
memories, man. Like,
You know, you go through so many ups and downs and everything, and it's difficult, but you work on it and you get it done.
I think the whole the YouTube movement with the education that you see on there now, if you're not watching YouTube for educational purposes, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You've got people like Grant Cardone, you know, Ben Maller, all these guys that are putting it out on the internet on a how-to. Like, do this and you will be successful.
Yeah.
From billionaires.
Yeah.
From the mouth of billionaires,
Yeah,
and you can watch it on
And if you're
YouTube,
sitting there watching Kardashians
crazy.
or some shit like
No,
that.
you're just like, you're wasting your life.
Hey,
Honestly,
did you see what she did last week? It was
No,
so cool.
I
No, I'm
didn't.
joking.
I would not put that past you at all. Hey.
Yeah. Late night, he puts the headphones in when the missus is asleep. Listens to
Just keeping up with things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just keeping up with it.
Yeah. You like Bruce, hey? I mean, who? Caitlin.
Yeah, that thing.
Caitlin, yeah. Yeah, but no, like the YouTube movement, like having so many of those guys just spelling it out for you, even like the drop shipping space, e-commerce, there's no excuse now to not be
Exactly. With bloody ChatGPT writing your business
man.
plan. What else do you want? You know, like it's like he's running a business plan. Your marketing strategies, your everything. Like what else? Like it's giving you everything. You just have to.
How crazy is that?
Exactly. Back in our days, we had no idea like how to. If you want to learn something, you got to take a multi-millionaire, hectare, deca-millionaire out on a lunch and all that. No, you don't need exactly as you say. From billionaires, you just go on YouTube and you get everything. And you know what? It's this is what it is. You know, you've only got. You know, everyone says you definitely have only one life. If you don't put your mind and focus and energy to it, it's never going to work. So you know how you was talking about people watching shit all the time, like Kim Kardashian and all that. It's cool. There's two washing machines in your home that you don't know about. One is definitely washing your clothes. The other washing machine is your bloody TV, which is washing your brain. Which you know, it's just
absolutely.
I've got three. Mine's the wife.
you got to cut that off the thing.
No way. I'm tagging her in it for sure. Hey, can we make that a reel?
Oh, man. I'll be eating $2.60 chips
Yeah.
for the next week.
So I got a bathroom in the building. So if you need to sleep here, you're more than welcome.
Oh, man. She's going to kill me for that.
Yeah. No, but you're dead right, though. The crap that you see on TV, I don't know if you follow Andrew Tate or what's been going on with him, but the BBC interview that they just did, my God, how they even put that on the TV, especially after having him film the entire interview. I think it was like a 40-minute interview. BBC put on about 14 minutes.
Yep.
And
the one at his house, yeah?
At his house recently.
Yeah.
And he just ripped them a new one.
Man. It was so fascinating.
And it was embarrassing. Like, the media now, like, the credibility is just gone. So anybody that sits there and believes any of the crap that's on TV nowadays,
this is not worth it.
It's an interesting, it's such an interesting topic. The fact that like what you said earlier about like only having one life, but when you think about it, like there's so many people. I mean, from my perspective, anyway, that there's so many people that I see that are just unconscious to that fact.
Exactly.
Like the fucking clock is ticking, man, and you're just watching TV, playing games, video games, like smoking or whatever.
Exactly, they're just wasting it away.
Just wasting it away. You know,
I don't think everyone has the same fire that you'll see in a certain circle of people that we associate with. Like it's that little fire in the belly which not forces people, but motivates them that I've got to do something. Otherwise, because like I see it all the time. We recently just had a business trip to Sydney, which obviously you know about, and we were looking around and looking at these people, and I'm thinking, they just look grey in the face. They look grey in what they're wearing. They're on the subway. They're going to probably their mundane job. They're leaving in the dark. They're coming home in the dark. We know this because we did that trip in the dark, right? We went down at 4 o'clock in the morning. We came home at 10 o'clock at night. So we saw the commute, and I'm thinking, fuck, these people look miserable. You know what? They don't have that spark to be like, I've got to get a sense of urgency to get something done.
It was weird. We literally got out of the cab in the middle of Circular Quay in Sydney, and we're just standing there. I just looked at him, and he was sort of, I think, thinking the same thing. Like, look at all these guys in suits, right, walking to their job, getting their coffee, not even looking at us, not even paying attention, not even being nice to the lady giving them the coffee. They're so inground.
It was their rut.
Yeah,
The rat race. You know,
Yeah,
you know, there's that meme where all the rats, all the mice are getting onto the tram, and
yeah.
I was like,
And
this is a real life version.
That's not me.
And that's what I think. Everything like this is like everything comes down to this thing. There's only two kind of people in this world: the one who get what they want, and everyone else.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
there's no other third person in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get whatever the fuck they want,
Yeah.
and everyone else.
And
That's it.
There's a crossover point too, because like I know a lot of people that aren't in the same mindset as us, and it frustrated me for so many years. Why aren't they having a go? Why are they just okay with it? Like, I'm not okay with where I'm at now, and I won't be in 10 years' time.
No.
Like, how come not everyone has that drive?
And it's not like there is so much money to go around. There's no scarcity of money.
No.
They're bloody printing it every day. The inflation's going up every day. The property price is going up every day. The car price is There
Yeah.
is no, like this bottle of water which used to be like $1.20. It's like $3,
$4
$4.60
now,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's literally no shortage of money. So it's not like if everyone starts earning more money, there's going to be no money. No, there's going to be more money.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
literally no shortage. So
I like what you said on. Sorry to cut you off there,
Yeah, no, it's
Peter.
okay.
I like what you said on One Life Club. I think it might have been One Life Club where it was like
yeah.
it takes the same amount of effort to dig
it.
for shit and earn
Exactly.
peanuts at a
Exactly.
job as it does to dig for
Exactly.
gold, as it does to dig for diamonds. So
Exactly. So everyone is digging in their life, everyone is digging, say from a CEO to even Grant Cardone, the billionaire, everyone is the place where they are digging that's the only difference. So
Yeah.
what I say is like, this is for the people who are actually digging. Is like if you're digging and someone's just getting mud, someone's getting copper, someone's getting gold, someone's getting diamond, someone's getting a mine of a diamond. If you're not happy, you just move, change the place of your digging, because
Absolutely.
you gotta dig all your life anyways until
I used to be part of the rat race. I used to, work for big corporations, little corporations, and I was sitting there every single day going, "This sucks, man." I'm like, I'm making someone else super rich.
Yeah.
I'm hustling and grinding, doing long shifts to make the dude,
Yeah.
which happened to be someone that I knew.
Yeah.
Him very, very wealthy, and I looked at his lifestyle because I'm like, I know the guy on a personal level, and I was like, he's got the nice house, the nice cars, the holidays. I'm like, I'm doing that for him, like it. And I was like, I just literally quit. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I probably had the same sort of moment as you. I'm like, there's the
No,
light bulb, and I'm
yeah.
like, I'm going out on my own.
Yeah.
Speaking of a man constantly digging and never stopping, we've got Mr. Pete that wants to have a bit of a question for
Yeah, shoot,
Pete.
man.
Yes.
Hey, here
Hello,
he is.
Pete.
G'day, Pete. I'm curious. You were speaking about mentors, and you were jumping on YouTube and listening to books. I'm curious, like, what are some of the specific pieces of advice that you received from either mentors or teachers that had a big impact for you?
Yeah, definitely. I love this thing from Jim Rohn, where it says it's not how long you live, it's how you live. So that's actually one statement, but you can dig into it quite a bit. Is like to have that how you live. You can live 30 years, but you can live 100 years of your life in that 30 years, or you can be 100-year-old and have done nothing, being just doing like the people with the suits, going having a bloody coffee and avocado and coming back and all that. So if you dig down, so one is how you live is like, of course, you got to be like 100% in everything. So you got to earn more. At the same time, you got to look after yourself. You got to go to the gym. You got to go do your meditation. You got to, go on holidays. Like, it has to be everything together, not just one thing. Because if it's just one thing, that's not how you live 100%. So, yeah.
What are your goals for you? And so, like, if you're defining or you're creating, your life that works for you on your terms, like, what's most important for you?
Most important for me is to be, again, talking about Grant Cardone again from YouTube as well, to be 10x in every single thing. Like, I want to grow my business, like, and I want to keep growing. I'm not gonna be one of those like, because you can't get comfortable. you always get punished as soon as, and it has happened in my life too, man. You get punished straight away as soon as you start being comfortable. There's always so many people who are trying to be where you are or ahead of you where you are. If you're not grinding at the same time, you're not, you're going to get slower. And at the same time, I want to travel more as well. I travel every 3 months, so every 2 months now. I'm trying to travel every month. It's like at this, and that gives me clarity. That lets me meet a lot more people. When you understand more people, you can make more money. There's a very good connection there. And you know, I do my meditation every morning as well. Not on the weekends. I can't do it, but yeah, I go to gym here, like try and go to gym like every 3 days a week and all that. So what I try and take from all this is you got to be pushing in every single part of your life. You know, you do that for a year, 2 years, you come out so far ahead that, okay, you know, and think of it like think of it as a race car, right? The race car, they always go really, really fast. They always stop for that pit stop, and then, you know, change the tires, blah, blah, and they're back on again, you know? So that's like, okay, your life is a race car. When you have so many businesses, so many things going on, you're going to be constantly, you can stop, take that holiday, a week, 2 weeks, 3, it doesn't matter. It doesn't put a dent on nothing. Come back, you're back into it. So
have you, just to jump in on that, have you got family at home or a wife or partner or anything like that?
I've got a girlfriend. I've got my younger brother. His wife is here too. They actually are in Gold Coast. My family is back in India, but they come every once or twice every year. So
how do you find the balance with the home and with work? Because I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with is the entrepreneur life doesn't stop. The business life doesn't stop. You from the eyes open to the eyes closed is you're always thinking and planning, and even when you're asleep, you're still dreaming. So
exactly,
how do you find the balance with home?
The main thing is you got to find that right partner, because a lot of things depends on that. If you don't find that right partner, you just like, doesn't
it's like
matter
a battle, isn't it?
It's a very big battle. That's like, you know, it's got to be, especially us being entrepreneurs, because we are always, it's a special breed. You're always out there. You're always, from the time you wake up exactly till the time you just like literally half asleep, you're always thinking about what's next, what are we gonna do, how do we make more money, which is and money is not a bad thing. You know, yes, we always got to think about how to make more money, because money buys everything plus more. So
freedom.
But at the same time, you need that supportive partner, because if you have that, let's say you're going to work, coming back home, and you have that like too much, it's like a machine, right? If you have too much grinding at home, and then there's no balance, your machine's not going to work.
No,
but if you come back home, it's like a service station when
your
engine gets serviced.
Pit stop. That's such a good way to think about it, man. Because like I've kind of like struggled with being too on, you know, and like not being able to switch off when I'm at home. Just fingers in like 6 different pies, and the meditation thing, like I do a bit of like transcendental kind of meditation with like a mantra going in the background or in my headphones or whatever. Man, that stuff really helps you like switch off.
I do like this 21-minute meditation every morning, and man, it is crazy. It's good. And again, you got to do your gratitude, what's the word? Sorry, graduation, like, you know, and then all that stuff every morning and stuff. It really, really changes the state of your mind, and you're ready for the whole day.
I watched something online. I don't know. It was probably YouTube. The first like 5 minutes of, you know, when your eyes open for the day, it's super important, and that can really like shape the rest of your day in terms of like the chemicals that are released. So the worst thing you can possibly do is pick up your phone, and I'm guilty of that. You know,
that's why you've been a moody prick all day, isn't it?
You can talk, mate. Come on. If I'm hanging around you all day long, it's a given. But that's what it is, though. You know,
and it's not easy. Like, you know, you want to wake up, you definitely want to look at your phone and all that. But again, it is not easy. But then you just have to keep working on it. And then once you're disciplined, it's like you're brushing your teeth. You won't even realize it. You're like, okay, you know what? And then I got to do my yoga. I got to go to the gym. I'm gonna do it just flows. And then if you just try for like a few months, and then you say, you know what, no matter what, 6 months I'm going to try. And after that, if I don't like it, I'll quit. But you will never quit, because you're going to like it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like one thing that I try to do is with the phone thing is like just put discipline around it. Like I like a lot of people think like, oh, your phone, like looking at your phone's bad, but like we're entrepreneurs, we have to be on there. Like it's 2023. Like, you can't not be on there.
Yeah.
So, like, I try, and I don't always succeed.
Yeah.
But I try just to put discipline around it where, like, okay, I can look at my phone from 8 o'clock onwards and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then I don't feel any guilt. But when I'm,
Yeah.
like, lying in bed like this, watching TikToks, I'm like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. Like, I shouldn't be doing this, you know?
Yeah.
You always can have time frames. But to be honest, look, if I put some light on that thing, is the traveling thing, since I've started doing a lot more, has helped a lot. So let's say every 3 months you go somewhere for a week, 2 weeks, you just disconnect so much, especially when your staff knows you're overseas. They don't contact you much for some reason. Even if your phone's on 24/7, no matter where you go. And then by the time you come back, you wanna be back in your business so much because you had that such a good break. Like, as I keep talking about that pit stop thing, and then you're a machine again. And in a week, 2 weeks, you can visit anywhere. You don't need more than that to be honest. Have a look at. You're not
10
going
days, man. Perfect.
Enough, exactly. You know, but then you're gone, you're back, and then you're so much recharged and so much sharper again for that 3 months, 4 months, however much you can handle. And as soon as being business owners, you always have battles every day. So if you can handle 6 months, go every 6 months. If you can handle 3 months, go every 3 months. But I think that is so crucial. It gives you so much, you know, you meet so many people, you learn so many experiences, you breathe a different air, and you're back and you're like game again. You polished again to run.
I think being at the top of any company too, a lot of people from the outside don't realize that shit rolls uphill. So if there's a problem and it's a big one, you're first in line. Exactly. You're the one that has to solve that problem. So you know, it's not all roses at the top. Everyone seems to think that, but you know, that's you know, typically what happens. You check your phone in the morning and it's, what problems have I got to solve today? It's not a, oh, look at all these lovely things that have happened while I've slept. It's never that. So distancing that, you know, before bed and as you wake up, I think super important, and taking the time off. Like Matt and I have got kids, and spending time with them is you know, super important, and that's really changed how I've sort of done business as well. Like you know, I value my time a hell of a lot more. And I've put procedures in place basically to minimize outside of hours now, you know, how much I actually have to do.
Exactly.
Unless it's, you know, detrimental and the business is going to go under overnight, I'm not interested.
And the first thing that you taught me about that as well is even like the do not disturb function on the phone. So because mine was on 24/7, right? Like my phone, like I'm always contactable, but I got to the point where I was getting grey by the day, and I'm already pretty grey as it is, right? So he's like, man, just set that function up on your phone, like the do not disturb. So from like 6:30 to 6:30,
you have to
no one touches me now. So
you just limit what apps can access you. You know, like text messages and phone calls from family and friends, great, but I don't want to hear an email go ding. I don't want WhatsApp. Well, don't give me any of that when I'm not working.
Well, because I think family is important too. Like,
well, I think it's like
you want to help.
It's tough, but it's also a mini holiday too. Like when you can just sit down, and put the phone down and enjoy your kids.
Your kids. It's like whatever makes you sort of happy and free. You know? But and then that's where I come. You know, so earning is one part, but then I think the passive income side is another part too, and I think everyone, like, even if you're a billionaire, but if you got it's the $1 billion is stuck in your company and you got to work for it every day, you're not a billionaire. You need to be like, so you have to have a very good passive. The more passive income you have, the more holidays and more time you can spend on your kids and all that, because your mind becomes so free, because you're like, whatever. You know, I'll just go to sleep. I'll wake up again. It becomes a game. But so I think that's where the next thing is. Yes, people and I wouldn't think about passive income when I'm starting, because when we are talking about the young kids, they have to work their asses off. But then when you get to the 23, 24, 20, I think we start thinking about passive. And by the time you're 30, sort of, you have a very good passive income. It's so good. It gives you so much freedom, so much lifestyle choices and security and all that. You know, I actually posted on my story the other day, and it became a bit controversial. I shouldn't know, but anyway, it was like, so I'm not sure if you know, chicken biryani is like an Indian chicken
delicious
rice. It's so good, right? So anyway, so I posted a note saying, and I was in Dubai, I'm like, wealth without freedom is like eating chicken biryani without chicken in it.
yeah.
I bet that went down well.
Oh, and I got so many comments and so many messages. I'm like, okay.
No, that's the ultimate goal, really,
Exactly.
isn't it?
And the
Like,
thing
it's
is-
not. I don't want to have a big stack of paper in my bedroom. Like, I want freedom to do whatever I want.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, you don't know what you're missing out. That's the main thing. Like, people who are going out there and busting the balls and don't have anything passive or don't have anything looked after, you just don't know what you miss. Like, it's eating bloody rice without any to taste shit.
Yeah, and like going back to like your boss taking you to the airport, like you see that and then your eyes open and you're like, holy shit, there's like a world out here that I don't even know about, man. Like, there's people flying in private jets getting served Dom Perignon, like whatever, you know, like and then you see like even with the car thing, man, like that was a big thing for me was like as soon as I bought the car, I was like, oh, cool, like I'm in this car scene now, like let's get some mates together. I started a little car club and then now there's 65 people in it and you're meeting all these people and like a lot of them coming on the podcast and I'm like, holy hell, like this world is like limitless, man.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Especially when you hear the stories of other people.
Even like Emil, like everyone's
Oh, yeah.
story's like crazy and it's just like once you like you were saying, you get to like that 25 years old and if you start kind of like being around those circles and meeting those people, that's when your mindset can change and it opens up and it's like stuff can flow in then. When it's closed-minded, like you can't really
And I
make
think
any
for
moves.
smart
You know?
people who really want to do something, like you said, about going on YouTube and checking everything, like the people who want to really do something for them, just direction is more than enough. Like, you know, when you're sitting down, someone says, oh, you know what, maybe you can do this. And then the next thing you know, this guy's opened up a bloody massive company in Dubai and US and everywhere, you know. So it's just that direction. You know, sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
That's right. Yeah. So I think your network is so important, you know, having people around you like that. We meet a lot, luckily, with this podcast, and we've got a lot of guys in the Supercar club. But I think like some of the people that we've met really like broadened our horizon just with what's possible. You know, we know guys with private jets and helicopters, and you know, not that I thought that it was unattainable. I'm like, shit, like I haven't got it quick enough. You know what I mean? Like, and that puts more fire up me. Like, well, I was just thinking while you were saying that, like, if I was my age now, 35, in a job without a business, without passive income, in today's economy, I'd be shitting myself.
Exactly. It's
It's a scary
brutal,
place.
and it's going to get worse.
Absolutely.
You need to take the action like literally yesterday. Not even
The
now.
system's against you, man. Like
Everywhere. Like it just, and to be honest, not just like it was used to be just US and stuff, but now it's everywhere. You got inflation's everywhere. Like everything's going up everywhere. And if you don't set up yourself, the gap that you see in third world countries between the rich and the poor, that's going to start coming in. In first world countries as well.
I kind of felt that
bigger.
way. Like when COVID struck, the first thing I thought, shit, this is going to divide our classes of people. Well, there's going to be more wealthy and more poor, and the middle class is going to go one way or the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now, like I believe, like 2020 was the time where, like, if you got stuck in, you could have made something of yourself.
Yeah.
E-commerce, whatever space. You know,
was a
because
chance,
as money moves, you know, there's opportunity. But now, where money's barely moving and it's stagnant, it becomes a problem. And you know,
that's true.
what
True.
and being from you came to Australia when you were 17, eh?
Yes, and
How did you like you would have been pretty, you know, like fairly mature at 17. Like how did you feel the cultural difference when you came to Australia in terms of the way entrepreneurship is viewed? Because like in Australia, there's stereotypically, like not everyone, but there is a lot of tall poppy, and people see entrepreneurship as a bad thing or greedy or you know, and like everyone at this table knows that we're creating amazing opportunities for staff and everyone else, and we get rewarded for that. But how do you feel like it compares to your home country?
It was difficult, and that's the thing. Like, you know, being in Australia, like I'm a citizen here now, and I'm just saying, Australians don't know that a lot of these people like myself and people coming from every other country, they are really, really hungry because they don't, like, if they are hungry, they're really hungry because they've seen everything. They've seen like poverty. They've like, yes, they're middle class over there, but and the competition is not just between people who are here, but competition is now, especially now because things are getting more global, is from the overseas people as well. So when I came here, I to be honest, I saw a lot of opportunities because nobody wanted. Take it 15 years ago, whatever. Nobody wanted to do that much business. Exactly as you say, like people, business was a bad word, was a shit word. Making money was a shit word. Right now, it's different because you got all these Andrew Tates and everyone pushing on saying Grant Cardone saying talking about money is not bad. It is not bad. Exactly, making money is not a bad thing, but it was used to be looked at. So but there was a lot of opportunity, and then I still say Australia today is what US was 30 odd years ago. We got so much opportunity right now here. If you can pick it up, if you can make that work, it's going to benefit us a lot. Look, US is good, the different markets is good, but again at the same time over there the competition is crazy. Think about 334 million people, and they are hungry over there. It's a massive. Here you don't have tenth of that competition, and the opportunities are there. So I think we are actually at a good time for young generation, for anyone, to be honest, anyone who wants to grow. Like Australia is a very, very good opportunity as a country to grow.
Sure. I think we've got Pete wanting to ask a question. Jump in, mate.
How you doing? I'm interested, Pete. I think we skipped over a little bit of your origin story, and we've talked about where you started, and we've talked a little bit about where you are now. But I'm really curious to know, how was that journey of founding the business and then scaling the business, and then thirdly navigating COVID when that actually happened? I'd love to hear that story from you.
So founding was just like, okay, I really want to do something for my own, and the jet thing, and then I said, okay, look, I really want to open up a business. So founding was like, okay, let's just jump into it. I had no idea. I never did degree. I had no idea. I literally had to Google what was net profit and what was gross profit. I literally had to Google it. It's just like
we all did, probably.
Got to learn somewhere.
Exactly. It's just where you start. So I think this is what I think. If you take that first step and you keep pushing, and I think you get there. So I had a lot of challenges, like literally a lot of challenges. There've been times I literally had no money to pay for the rent, and I was sleeping in a car because then my weekly wage was going to come, and that was going to be then enough to pay for a bond. And so, being through those days to where it is now, it's definitely been a challenge. It's like, but you keep pushing. Now, the challenges were, especially learning everything from the start, especially learning, definitely you got to learn the rules, learn the regulations, and how to make it work. And so it was there, but I kept pushing. And to be honest, you know what? When I kept pushing, opportunities started coming up one by one. But at the same time, it's not like opportunity is going to come to you. But when you keep hustling so much, when you're putting so much output, if you're putting 200% output, when you get the 100%, you're surprised. But then you think of it that way, you have to put that 200% output to be that 100%. With the scale part, I did something different than to grow faster than anyone else in my industry. Was I started acquisition and growth. That was my strategy. What I used to do is I started, and again, that was my first business. When I wanted to buy a business, I went to this. I used to call people and say, "Hey, mate, you can't tell them is your business up for sale. They'll go off at you." But I was like, "Hey, mate, I heard. Do you know anyone in the industry who would be up for sale?" And then that way, you're not targeting them. You're targeting, it's not a direct target. And I used to make like 50 calls, and then I still used to get forwarded, and I'm okay. It doesn't matter. So I called this guy one day, and it's a good story. I was actually in Brisbane CBD. His name was Peter Sands. He used to run SAI Security, and I called him up. He's like, "Oh, that's freakish." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking of selling," and that was my first business that I bought. I'm like, okay, I'll come and meet you. So I went and met him, and the money that he asked for his business, I didn't have that much money. But again, vendor financing, I said, okay, Pete, you know what? I'll give you, this much advance, and then the rest of the money I'll give you in a year or 6 months or whatever I can work out the deal with. And that's how I started. And then he was okay with it as long as he got his money, and I got but you settle on the business right away, and then you make it work, because that way both the parties are involved. He has to make sure that the business is good, otherwise he doesn't get paid.
He doesn't get his interim payments.
And I have to make sure the business is good, otherwise I don't get my return on it. So that's how I started, and that's how I bought my first company, and that's how second, third. And then when I had enough funds after that, I wouldn't care. I would just buy it. But I think acquisition and growth, that's what I did, and I kept putting them under my banner. But I also did the strategy where I did not change the name. So let's say if I buy ABC Pty Ltd, I will not change the name. I will get the trading name transferred to me. So I will trade as trading name, where customers feel a little bit more like, okay, it's the same sort of
same person.
In a way, but it's the same. We will always keep the same stuff just to make sure that we don't change too much with the business. And then 3 months later, you go to the customer and you say, hey, you know what? Look, you got that letter when we started. You've seen 3 months. We still trade as ABC, and nothing's changed, and actually it's become better. And then customer becomes happy. And then the other thing what I did was so I think I bought 16, 17, 18, sort of 9, I don't know, more than 18 businesses that I took over one by one. And then every business I took over, I got the seller to do a testimonial. And then that testimonials helped me to get more, because if I have to go, there was a company for sale, if I had to go and buy it, I was like 10 testimonials.
Here's the ones I've already bought.
Yeah, exactly. And then the thing is now
so
he can call anyone. Like we looked after everyone. So I always was the first choice, even though, and that's how I competed with the big companies. You can't compete with the big companies, but big companies are going to give them shit money. They're going to screw them down, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, you know what? These are 10 testimonials. You're like, okay, then they start taking you seriously because you got the actual proof. It's like the Instagram videos show my back, back in those days. So that really helped, and that's how I actually scaled. And then again, when you start scaling, I always wanted to get into the US market, and I had an opportunity over there where there was a company again up for sale, and we did a good deal with them, and I think like 18 patrol cars in San Diego right now, and part of Vegas as well. So that's how I expanded in US as well. So that was definitely, challenges are every day, but you just keep expanding and keep working on it.
So do you have CEOs in each one of the organizations?
There's state, like country managers, then like national managers, then you got state managers, then you got managers, supervisors, and then the staff underneath. So everyone will report to the other chain, and that's how I still get 100, 200 calls a day. But it's still
Used to be 1,000.
Exactly. It's like crazy. Like 3 hours. The iPhone list, 3 hours. It refreshed every 3 hours. That many phone calls. But now it's okay because there's. But the thing is, this is the thing. The bigger it gets, the bigger challenges you're gonna get. I just have to figure out. So now I put down a 24-hour control room. They take care of a lot of phone calls and all that. So I don't think so. We should be ever afraid of getting big. Because you will find, if you find a way to grow that much, you can find a way to grow 20 times, 200 times. You will always find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's interesting. Well, the I don't know if Pete might have had another question, or
I think there was another question, Pete.
Yeah, I've got plenty more. Number one is, how is that sustainable to receive and manage that many calls per day?
I go on holidays. That's why so much. You delegate it, but with our industries, again, wherever you have transportation and different like staff, imagine, you're handling 20, 30, 40, 50 staff, so many hassles. You still got multiply that, have 300, there's so many hassles. But again, yes, there's systems and strategies in place, but to be honest, the bigger you get, the bigger responsibility you have, and you just have to figure it out, how to manage it. So, 10x in everywhere. I think that's 10x in calls. Sorry.
My other question was, I was curious, you started your business by acquiring, it sounds like, and I mean, that's a pretty clever strategy. What made you think that acquiring was the right way to start rather than starting from zero? Because most people, when they go into business or jump into entrepreneurship, will start from zero. And that's actually a pretty hard slog, because you've got to go and call your first customers, and you've got to, get your first dollars in the door, and you're basically starting from zero revenue. But when you buy a business, obviously you've got existing revenue and existing customers, a lot more leverage to be able to grow. Also pretty clever that you were able to vendor finance those. Like, did you learn that from somewhere, or did you copy someone else doing that, or was it just your natural instinct?
My dad is a businessman back in India, and since I was like 8, 9 years, I used to go to his shop and like, just work around that. So he did give me a lot of advice when I was starting out with, what can we do, but I think the vendor finance was from YouTube. I saw some mentor talking about it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, in the evening when you're just trying to go to sleep rather than watching some BS, there's so many things you pick up from Netflix and especially YouTube when you're learning. So it came from there. And see, buying business is like you're buying someone's goodwill. And that person has worked 20 years, 30 years, making his brand name and all that, and he's ready to go. You can't buy that 30 years with your time. You work out a deal with him, buy the company, put a system in place, move on. Now think about it this way: all these 18, 19, 20 companies I bought, every company had an accountant, a bookkeeper, and like managers, I still kept it, but there's so many things. Phone systems which came back straight to our control room. So there, straight away, I'm getting rid of 3 or 4 people who I don't need it. They can go and get jobs somewhere else, and then that's like that's saving straight away. So if you work out a structure and system, I think buying is gonna get you growth so quicker, and then it gives you a national footprint pretty fast, and then there's a lot of companies. And so this is, in our industry, this is what it is. People don't want to deal with it. So there's like top 3 companies who are doing $1 billion in revenue and all that. A lot of government people don't want to deal with them because most of the owners are overseas. That's an overseas company. People don't want to deal with a very small company because they can't handle it. That's where we come in. We are those medium to big size company where we can handle it. We are in Australia. We're an Australian-owned company and all that. So that gives us a very good. Now, I wouldn't have been here if I wouldn't have bought all these companies. So you just keep picking up and something will happen.
I'm curious, what's the criteria that you look for in the businesses that you buy?
Money.
Cash flow.
Has to work. The profit and loss, I see it first, and then they put a lot of stuff up there in there, and you just take it out. And then the main thing I would look for is, how do I get my money back first? That's the first thing I'll look at. So if I'm buying the business for 500, a mil, 300, 2 mil, whatever it is, the figure is how quickly I can get that money back. That's my first question every time I go in, because I want that back. Any business is so risky. Something can happen with it anytime, anywhere. I just want, the quicker I get that back, the less. And after that, it's free. If I could buy a business for $1 million, if I can get that $1 million back in a year and a half, 2 years max, whatever the return would be, however good it is, I want that back. I want that back no matter what. And then after that, it's free, not free money, but sort of like it's in the system.
It's set and forget.
It's in the system.
And there's a very different risk profile there when you're looking at a business, because I've kind of like played around in that area. I've never actually like done a deal and bought a business, but I've looked at a few businesses to buy, like a tool shop in Toowoomba, like when I was younger, when I was like 28 or 29 or something, and then a few other businesses in like the car scene. And what I kind of like, the mindset of like real estate investment, or because I do a little bit of that as well, is it's fairly low risk. It's like, if I buy this asset, it's probably going to be worth the same amount of money in a year. If I decide it's not right, I can move it on. But you buy a business that has 20-year history, 20-year goodwill, and then you decide it's not working, go to sell it 1 year later, red flag. Like, you're not going to get your money back. It's like a very different risk profile, eh?
Very,
we should probably get onto the car side of things.
Yeah.
So how did you? Obviously, you've got an interest in cars. You've had quite a cool collection so far. Do you have a bit of a story about where that all started for you? Like, was it when you were young?
Yeah, when I was young, I always wanted a Lamborghini. Always wanted a Lamborghini. I wanted a Lamborghini and a Yamaha R1.
I saw you in the bikes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you got one?
I got one Yamaha R1. I've got one. And always wanted a Lamborghini, but then again, I as I said, I could have bought it. I was back in 23, 24, but I decided to put money into real estate and do other stuff and all that. And then back in those days, I could only get with the passive I had, and I was like, okay, I'll get it. I get an R8, so that's like I actually went to the Lamborghini showroom, and the guy was there. He actually told me, he's like, if it's your first supercar, he had a secondhand R8 just sitting there. Somebody sold it and bought a Lamborghini. He's like, this is just come in. I think it will suit you. Get in here and you like it, we can go to Lamborghini. And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. And I walked out with an R8.
Was it a V8 or V10?
It was a V8, but the guy did the titanium exhaust, something like yours, and man,
sick.
it was sick. It was so good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's how I ended up getting an R8. And then another, I think, real estate opportunity came. I'm like, all right, it's gone. Put the money in there and made more. And then I was like, okay. Then I bought McLaren, and then McLaren, it was okay. It was hit and miss. So I let that one go, and then I got the Lamborghini. So, yeah. Again, I wanted it for way long, but I am very, very disciplined with my money. No matter what, I don't get, and that's what you learn when you're buying all these businesses, being out there for so long. That's what you learn. So I have to be disciplined, because that's the only way I can buy an Aventador or whatever that is. It could be a Bugatti or something one day. It's just like, I have to be disciplined. Without discipline, either you want a lotto, you can't get there.
Yeah.
So either you be an online entrepreneur, earn $1 million, get a $500,000 Lamborghini and forget about it, or invest that money and one day buy a Bugatti.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do your family think of the car?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah, they're supportive.
Yeah, they're supportive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They know I bust my balls, so they're like, okay, just get it.
Yeah. That's cool.
They're like,
It's interesting though, because like some people just there's a stigma around supercars, and we see it quite often that not everybody wants to talk about the fact that they've got a cool car like that. Whether it be family, friends, or
Even Emil said it, with the Ferraris. He didn't want to tell his mother what he paid for it, and he's like, "Oh, I think it was only like 150." He goes, "It's actually 600 grand."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You spent how much money on the car?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Lucky I didn't tell her how much it really cost."
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things,
and that's the thing about supercar as well. Like, and then that's where I found it weird. It's like when you're in a supercar and you're driving slow, people come to you and like, "Oh, you got a supercar, you can't even speed." And then when you're going fast, you're like, "Oh, you got a supercar, you speeding?"
Yeah.
What do you do?
You can't
What do you do?
Yeah.
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 You burn them off at the lights anyway.
Yeah. It attracts they do attract a lot of bad attention. But the thing you kind of learn, I feel anyway, is with the club thing as well. Like, we've had a couple of club things where we've parked at cafes and all of a sudden, like, the whole, there's some people in the cafe looking at you like, "Oh, what an idiot."
Yeah.
And it's like, those people, like, they just don't have like the open-mindedness to be like, "Oh, that dude's like done really well for himself. Maybe I should have a chat to him," or like,
exactly, and learn how to, yeah. And again, I think supercars are a very, very good networking tool. At the same time, it sometimes can give you 10 times return. That one idea you pick up from another supercar owner and all that, and it's definitely a good return on investment. If you buy with your FU money, sort of.
Yeah.
Watches, cars, planes, all those sorts of things. They open doors.
Yeah.
Even like Tate has brought it up. When he ordered his Bugatti, going to some of the Bugatti owners,
it was
meets. Like,
that's true.
He said that's where some of the biggest deals he's ever done have happened.
Yeah.
And the car's paid for itself, and he hasn't even collected it yet. So
What's the next car?
Yeah, Aventador.
Aventador.
Yeah, definitely.
You said that with conviction.
Yeah.
Like he's already put an order in for one.
Yeah, like he's getting it. I'd put money on that.
I get it.
Yeah. Hard to get at the moment though. Hey.
Yeah, hard to get one.
Yeah.
I love those the big, like really, really nice.
Yeah,
nice
wide.
Cars,
Yeah,
Yeah.
big, man. They are big.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind the G-Wagon as a side thing, but yeah.
What are you driving as a daily?
I've got an RS3, sorry. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Like a daily.
Yeah.
I took the 2 risky number plates off that, so not that one. Yeah.
I think I do. I think I've seen those number plates actually. Too risky.
Yeah.
On Marketplace because someone pinched them.
Yeah.
Someone flogged them.
Yeah. What are the plates on this one?
It's called the UFO.
Yeah.
I got this number plates a year ago because I was gonna buy a Lamborghini a year ago, but something else came up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get it a little bit late." Not even a year, like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the number plates are good. So someone asked me the other day. One of my mates asked me on Insta, he's like, "Oh, what does the UFO mean?" So I said, "Oh, you see it fly past one day." He's like, "Oh shit, I get it now."
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a what's the best word for it? Like it's a bit addicting, number plates. 'Cause
Yeah,
like,
it is.
12 months ago, I never had a single personalized plate, and then now I've got a ton of them, and I'm like, I've been trying to buy a few more, and PPQ called me up and they're like, you can't have this combination, man. Like this is too dodgy. Like this is incriminating or whatever. And I was like, but there's so many more plates that I want now, and I just want to put them up on the shelf, just like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The number plates are definitely addicting.
Yeah.
So if you're
I
listening,
tried to get no lube for that thing, and it was
no
They
go.
said
not,
no?
not allowed.
I said no.
Wonder why.
They say
Wonder
no.
why.
They say no to it.
Yeah.
It's got no oil in it.
Yeah.
It burns oil.
Yeah. That's what you wanted it for.
Don't tell it when we're trying to sell it.
It'd be nice to get PPQ on the podcast as a channel sponsor, hey?
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
it
good.
would. Maybe I'll get my plates passed then.
Well, you got clickbait there. I don't know. Oh, the camera can see that.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
Yeah, they're going on something naughty.
Ah,
Keep
that's
that under
nice.
wraps. Yeah.
That's nice, mate.
Yeah. No, we've got quite a few plates between us. Tell you what, the Q plates are getting hard to get hold of now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're quadrupling their money the second that they get delivered in the post. The
You
second-
know what
the
I
second
so
buy.
you guys saw the little reel that I did. I was chatting to that young kid, and he gave me so much information. And this comes back to what you were saying earlier, where like anyone you can learn anything from anyone, man. And it's not like about I'm up here and like there's no hierarchy. Like anyone can teach you shit. This dude was like telling me how it all works, and my mind was blown. He's like, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could just walk into QR or whatever it's called, Queensland Transport, and
I saw your video.
put your name down, and then you get three plates, man.
saw your
Three,
video.
guaranteed to buy 3. And he's like, now you got to go online and get in a bidding war.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a bidding war, but like a wait list.
Random
where
wait
they
list,
just
yeah.
pick a number, and at any point in time there can be up like 17, 20,000 people trying to go for 50 plates.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Eh?
I've missed out on the last drop, but the previous one I got a set.
Yeah, I
And
saw him up there.
Yeah. I've tried like 4 or 5 times and only got lucky once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How
even
many-
even the latest issue ones, I think second hand are like 15 grand. Like if you get picked out of the number, it's like 15 grand.
Well, they doubled their cost too. So they were 4.5, I think, when I bought mine. Now they're 8 or something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
Yeah.
but instantly it's worth 15 as
Yeah.
soon as you get it.
But
eh?
how many browsers did we have open on different
VPNs
keys?
and
Exactly right.
600 monitors.
Yeah.
Seriously,
That's a
dude,
good
it was
idea.
like a fucking World of Warcraft scene upstairs, man. It was hectic.
It was
I
a busy
like,
day at work.
Yeah, we did fuck all.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Sitting there going, come on.
But you made 15 grand.
It was the quickest 15 grand we made. Well, everything on do not disturb. Right, let's get this done.
Oh, that's hectic.
And then you only get a 20-minute time slot to actually pick your combination.
true, that's
so
true,
yeah.
we're sitting there going 6969. No, that doesn't work. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to check everything.
And see, that's the thing that I like about car clubs and meetups like these. Like you are sitting with like-minded people. You can talk shit about the same stuff that you don't feel out of like I'm in an alien world where you have to behave thinking you know what
Yeah.
that you can be.
There's a lot of aspiration in the car community. Yeah,
That's true. There's I think, to be honest, I think I don't think so. There's definitely a lot more good than bad. There's always gonna be that 1 or 2 lemons everywhere, but that's just everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. So
yeah, exactly.
I think there's definitely a lot more good, and helping
same.
each other and
And
pushing
like that
each
guy was a
other.
legend. Well, I can't. He's Connor, I think his name was, the guy that I did the reel with.
Yeah.
He's like such a legend. Like just come over, I'll have a chat. Gets on the camera. Like and he's like, yeah, so good to see all the cars here in like different genres, and like I got more out of just watching him talk than I did out of like putting the reel up, and then the reel was successful. Like I got more out of just talking to someone in the community. Like
Yeah. You know who we should try and get on the podcast?
Who?
Old Tracy Grimshaw. She loves a hooning me.
Oh yeah. Good luck to you.
Oh man, tell you what, she gives a lot of the industry a bad rap.
yeah,
Like-
they do big time.
Yeah, there is some rat bags, but there is in any industry.
Yeah, that's everything.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So what's as entrepreneurs, Peter, we all have kind of some of those gut punch moments where like we try and go and do something and it doesn't work out, and it's like a bit of a battering to the pride. What's like your biggest what's the biggest battering to the pride you've taken, and the biggest lesson that you learned out of it?
Mate, was it like nearly probably two something years ago now. I got divorced. I got separated. That was a very big punch. I lost quite a bit of money and all that, but you know what? Most of it I made it back again. But again, at the same time, if not for all those times when I was out there sleeping in the cars and, you know, getting middle fingered and all that, I wouldn't have been able to come back up. But people can take whatever they want from you, but they can't take your ethics, your hard work, your determination, you know. So that was actually pretty big. But again, I actually survived. I actually came back on top pretty good, and I recovered pretty fast and all that because you know, there's that fire. Like you can't. Doesn't matter how much water you put in, it's gonna come back up. The fire is not gonna go. So that was a very big, punch back. But that's okay. Happens.
Yeah.
Do you think if you lost everything today, you could get back to where you are pretty quick?
Yeah. I think, actually faster than what I did last time because
you'll learn the mistakes.
You'll learn the mistakes. The only way, you don't need money to make money. You need your brain to make money, and the sharper your brain is, and you're gonna make money that faster.
And your network, you know.
And your network, you know, the network can take you to places where your degrees cannot.
Exactly.
Just that answer shows you how important, you know, knowledge is. You know, do your research, meet and talk to people. You know, like. That is 90% of business. Yeah. If you've got the knowledge and you know you can put the hard work in, you can be successful.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
There's no secret sauce. It's get in and get it done.
Yep.
There's not a lot of people that have that.
Determination, persistence, and hard work. That's the only three things I think you need to succeed in any given field.
Yeah.
So.
Some of the most successful people have been through like probably the hardest situations.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. You guys familiar with Dan Penner?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh man,
who's not?
Oh, he's the most angry man in the world, but I love him. Yeah, I love the determination.
Tells you straight in the face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not afraid to drop the C-bomb in a massive room full of people.
Yeah,
just saying, get up and stop being lazy.
I think the world needs a bit more of that. You know, like getting a trophy for like fifth. Like, come on, like that's. I feel that's part of the problem nowadays. Yeah, everybody's getting a pat on the back. Oh, you did well. You didn't win, but I think if a few more people had a bit more
tougher
upbringing and solid mentors. Like I've got a mentor and he tells me straight. And like
grit builds resilience, man.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is like grit and like to a certain extent, if people are put through a lot of traumatizing things, it can be really damaging. But there's a good balance there where it's like hard shit makes you stronger. And you do better, like
definitely.
In regards to mental health, how do you cope with that? Like, do you have like days where you just don't feel like you've got the energy to deal with the problems for the day?
Yeah, as being an entrepreneur, and you have so many things going on, you always have that ups and downs. It's a challenging journey from the day you start. It's like. You always feel like, maybe I should give up, maybe this and that. And not like give up, but you're like, I'll give up for the day or something. You would never give up. But you get that a lot. But again, as I say, once you start doing your meditations, your taking breaks and going away and all that, I mean, that doesn't affect you that much.
Yeah,
it's like
so you feel that's like the key, looking after yourself.
Definitely the key, meditation, looking after yourself in any way which is going to give you peace of mind, because you cannot be always vibrating. The machine's gonna die. That service, you need that. And how you get that is, not doing anything wrong. So that's what happened. To be honest, that's what happened. Whenever something changes there's a massive shift. So with my separation, divorce, it was a massive shift. I still had a lot of money. I could have just gone and done wrong stuff and gone down the drain. But I used that energy to start my US business. I'm like, you know what, stuff it. I'm gonna. So you gotta. It depends how you handle it. You push that. You use the energy, and you might come out 10 times faster than what you thought, because that was your fuel to go high. So there's always challenges. There's always those stuff, but it depends how you use it. Yeah. But meditation and definitely going on taking breaks and all that definitely helps.
And the gym.
And the gym, yeah. And you definitely need something, whatever gives your brain relaxation sort of.
Yeah.
Not
100%. It's
not
like
bad stuff, not addictive stuff, because that's gonna ruin you. So
yeah. It's like a car, like if you put that cruise control on that thing at 120 and just drive it for hours, it'd be it'd blow up
Yep.
in a day, you know.
Yep.
But you'd pit stop it, change the oil, let it have a rest. Like,
Yep. Yep. It helps a lot.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
All right. Wrap it up there, you reckon? Or
yeah, I suppose.
Pete, I don't know if Pete's still on the line. Does Pete have any more questions? Or I think Pete's probably jumped actually.
Oh, no,
he's
Pete's
there. He's late for dinner.
I'm enjoying the conversation so far, guys, and I'm glad we jumped in. I guess the last question that we didn't quite cover is, what was that moment you received the phone call or the email about COVID, Pete, and how did you handle that? What was the thought process that went through your mind? What was your action plan? How did you manage that? Obviously pretty big blow to the business, but you were able to navigate it pretty well.
To be honest, we were in one of those industries which was actually affected, but not that much affected. So we could come back from up easily, and we had more. I think yes, there was a lot of sites that was shutting down and all that, but at the same time, there were different opportunities that was coming up. So I just have to very quickly figure out a way to make sure that because I did see a lot of people in medical profession and everyone making millions at that time, and I'm thinking, no way. As you said, there was a massive shift, and I had to jump on something to make sure that we make it work, because if you don't think quick, if you don't act on it, that's the first thing. Anything like, when you told me about this podcast, it's just, you have to be quick. You can't, you make the decision straight away, or you just think about it and be an idiot about it. So I had to find something to get onto it straight away. And every time actually back then was more money than it was crazy. So I had to change strategies and sleepless nights and this and that. We got on and you have.
And what was that? What was the shift in strategy? How did you handle it?
So we came up with the virtual patrols thing, where we had to be like, rather than going to the site, we could do it from the control room. And it was cheaper for the client. It was actually more beneficial for us and the clients. So it became like a win-win situation. At the same time, we used to do a lot of events and stuff. Like, we had guards and all that in a lot of places. So there was like 50, 60, 70 guards doing nothing straight away. But what I did is I made calls to some hospitals and some which needed people, like not in the hospitals, but different places. And then I just deployed them from here to there. So it was just quick thinking. You gotta... And if I would have done nothing, I would have been sitting there looking at the news, thinking, "Oh yeah, the world's going down, world's going down, world's going down."
Yeah, poor me.
Exactly, it would have been fucked. And like, no, stuff that. Sorry, and then just do your own thing. So
I think sitting on your hands is never a good thing.
Nah.
And is your focus moving forward to continue to be like a centralized, technology-driven business, or are you still going to acquire traditional people on site type businesses to, get that kind of like national rollout happening as you're entering new markets?
Yeah, I think we still gonna. I think whatever's working, not to break it at this day. At the same time, I am aware of the new emerging markets and all that. That's why SAI just got into tech and all that as well. We're coming up with some giveaway sort of different business structures and all that. I got a really good response back. So definitely more in my business, definitely a lot more commercial real estate. That's where I'm pushing a lot. Now that would be my number one, actually pushing a lot more on that side, because again, as I said, that is the thing which gives you active. So, you got to have your machine. So think of this one as my machine, which is producing stuff, but at the same time, I got to have the passive thing. So real estate, commercial, I'm going to push a lot more to have more passive, because the more passive you are, the more your lifestyle is like easier. And then again, we are pushing quite a bit in tech again. So we're pushing on that too. So thinking of what's coming. Yeah. Because if you don't change again, it will not work. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything there. So
yeah, cheers for coming on, Peter. It's awesome to have you on, man.
Awesome.
Car looks sick. Maybe we
do a drive day one day.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't come to this Saturday, can you? Nah.
So sorry, I had something organized.
Yeah.
I would love to next time.
Yeah. We'll come to the next one. Yeah.
You're Brizzy based as well, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think the next one we might try and plan to go up there.
We'll do a Hellenica lunch or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Should we go have a sneaky look at this thing?
Yeah, we'll have a sneaky look around the car. And do you have like one closing phrase that we want to wrap it up with, Peter? Like just a real punchy kind of phrase that you live by?
I think, as I said, determination, hard work, and persistence can get you to places where your degrees cannot.
Yeah.
I like
Yes.
Live by that.
My man, yeah.
Hitting the
Totally
limiter.
agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere else. And you can follow Peter on Instagram or look him up at SAI Group. You'll find the website somewhere if you Google that. Cool. Cheers, guys. And Pete's on the line, giving everyone a wave as well. So, yeah, catch you later, Pete. We'll talk to you next time you're
All right.
in the workworkshop.
See you
See you, everyone.
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
Catch up.